Melina. That's not the answer. We'll turn him over to the Greek police.
Out of my way, James.
All right. But be prepared to dig those 2 graves.
Something is very, very special about For Your Eyes Only. It is not a film that flatters you immediately. It does not seduce you with spectacle the way other Bond films do. Instead, it waits, it lingers, it watches you age. And as you get older, it grows with you like a beautiful, slightly cruel mirror that becomes clearer the more years you carry on your face. When I was a kid, I didn't care much for it. It felt quiet, unflashy, almost austere. But the older I get, the more it means to me, the more it resonates, the more it moves me, and crucially, the more it entertains me. The last time I watched it was probably 5 years ago, and even then it climbed significantly in my personal Bond rankings. And now, today, I know I said Spectre was my favorite Bond film on this channel. I meant that when I said it, and I still mean it when I say Spectre is a beautiful film, one that's often criminally misread, dripping with melancholic grandeur, postmodern splendor, and doomed romanticism. I am not the type to change my mind lightly. That's why this matters. Because I have changed my mind. I just rewatched For Your Eyes Only, and I can say, with extreme confidence, without hesitation, without irony, without performance, that For Your Eyes Only is the best, most perfect Bond film ever made. The hero. The version of James Bond we see here is the one I relate to most. Not the untouchable Superman, not the cartoon of masculinity, not the glamorous assassin who never feels pain, but a man who has lived, has been bruised, who carries his age like armor rather than a weakness. Roger Moore in For Your Eyes Only is not playing a joke. He is playing a mature, deliberate, quietly formidable Bond. His charm is measured rather than flamboyant. His stamina is hard-earned. His durability feels human instead of mythic. His moral system is clear, steady, and uncompromising. Elegance, intensity. This Bond is aspirational, inspirational, worth idolizing. His age does not make him weaker, it makes him distinguished. It gives him authority. It gives his presence weight. When he walks into a room, you feel decades of experience behind his eyes. His age teaches me something good, that strength can deepen rather than diminish, that heroism can become more thoughtful without becoming less powerful. This is a Bond who has suffered, endured, and survived, and is still capable of beauty, wit, and justice. The girl, Melina Havelock, is absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. Not just pretty. Arresting. I'm like a deer in headlights whenever she has a close-up. She's piercing. Dangerous in her stillness. I could look into her eyes for the rest of my life and be perfectly happy. And let's be clear, crossbows make all women sexier. That's simply a fact. Melina is not a passive object of desire. She is a woman on a mission consumed by revenge. And as the old saying goes, if you seek revenge, dig 2 graves. Her journey is shaped by that tension between justice and self-destruction, between grief and fury, between righteous anger and personal damnation. She is physically intense, spiritually intense, narratively intense. Every moment feels purposeful. Every look feels loaded with history and pain. And For Your Eyes Only, she's not just a Bond girl. She's a Greek goddess of revenge, beautiful, lethal, and mythic, wandering through a modern world that barely understands her wrath. Her presence elevates the entire film into something almost tragic and classical. The villain. Kristatos is, in my view, one of the most underrated Bond villains in the entire franchise. He is not bombastic, he does not monologue, he does not preen. Instead, he is quietly, deeply, chillingly sinister. A double agent, a cruel intelligence operative, a heroin smuggler hiding behind medals and smiles. He stole my villain-loving heart. I adore spending time with him on screen. There is something delicious about his control, his patience, his calculated evil. If I were a Bond villain, I like to think I'd fashion myself after both Kristatos and Kananga equally, two different flavors of charismatic corruption. BB Doll makes Kristatos fascinating rather than merely evil. The fact that the finale of the film takes place in an abandoned monastery is not incidental. It frames Kristatos as a false, corrupted monk of crime, politics, and deception, cloaked in the language of honor while practicing moral rot. The sacred space becomes a stage for his profane soul. And then there is BB. His fixation on her is unsettling, layered, and deeply revealing. He weeps watching her skate, watching her train for the Olympics, not out of paternal pride, but out of something far more twisted. She is his bruise. Everyone can see it, his obsession, his object of forbidden fascination, his fetish. Through BB, Kristatos' perversions become clear. Predatory, duplicitous, voyeuristic. His sponsorship is a lie. His mentorship is manipulation. He never touches her, and that somehow makes it worse, because he prefers to watch. He is a simp, masquerading as a smuggler, masquerading as a mentor, masquerading as a hero. BB, meanwhile, is secretly liberated, spirited, alive, uncontainable, while Kristatos is secretly enslaved by his own obsession, yet that must give him a sick form of sexual satisfaction. Kristatos is a false idol in every possible sense. He is decorated with medals for bravery, yet he embodies the opposite of what those medals represent. He is hailed as a hero by nations who do not know the monster beneath the surface. He is revered by athletes who see only a generous sponsor, not a predatory manipulator. He even fools the narrative itself and us into believing he's helping Bond, when in truth he is using James as a weapon in his own ruthless game. And where does this false idol die? In a monastery, waiting for the KGB, knifed in the back atop a temple of lies, a shrine to his hypocrisy. That makes him one of the truly elite Bond villains, not loud, not theatrical, but psychologically, morally, politically, sexually, and spiritually corrupt. While he's not theatrical on the surface, he is constantly playing multiple different parts in his own massively complex game of manipulation. For Your Eyes Only also has my favorite Bond ally, Topol, as Columbo. He's such a colorful character, such a fun character, such a great guy to root for, and I think complements Moore's Bond perfectly. I love Columbo, seriously. Topol is awesome, and Columbo is an all-time great James Bond character. The film itself is simply gorgeous. The composition of For Your Eyes Only is gorgeous, especially the underwater sequences. They are serene, haunting, and almost dreamlike. And I love the winter cinematography. The snow sequences are the best in the entire series of films. The action is breathtaking without being excessive, fun without being absurd. Every stunt feels earned, every chase feels dangerous, every confrontation feels real, every action sequence is inventive and precise. The attitude of the film is what makes it truly special. A grounded, mature, confident new vision of Bond for the 1980s. A deliberate course correction after the excesses of Moonraker. A return to stakes, character, and atmosphere. And I love the atmosphere, the locations, the vibes, the attitude of For Your Eyes Only, the characters. It's lean, it is elegant, it is precise, it is deadly. This is not just my favorite Bond film. This is the greatest Bond film. For Your Eyes Only is the rare Bond movie that gets better as you get older, that reveals new depths, new truths, new emotional and fantastic textures each time you return to it. It is Bond at his most human, his most heroic, his most meaningful. It is beauty, vengeance, deception, desire, and morality woven together into something near perfect. For me, now, today, with full clarity, this is the Bond film that stands above all others. Thanks for watching me. I'm the rejected Bond villain.